Well, good evening all. Welcome to another Airfix and Chill. Hello, Mum. Thanks for texting me. It's not me, by the way. Somebody else has got a text there.
No,
Hope everybody's well. Oh, hang on. Right, hang on. Let me just, yeah. Right, so, hi. I just got a load of text through. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, all good. We had the Airfix launch last week, Tuesday. So I thought tonight, even though it always seems to be like we do it to death on the actual day, but I thought that we would discuss more about what the actual launch meant for you, to those in the chat, to those here on the panel, what they thought of it. Obviously, Airfix fanboy, pink rose tinted glasses. I was overjoyed. Liberator really got me. I think it's well deserved, well overdue. A new tool in that specific guise as well. I know they did release one before, but I think it was added parts, wasn't it, or something, or they just changed the scheme on it. A lot of people are quite impressed with the Bulldog. Not the Bulldog, the Chinook, or the Chinook, whatever how you want to say it. And not so much love with the Bulldog. But then again, it was an old tooling that needed upgrading, I think. Quite a few of the vintage classics were released, like some figures. I thought the MiG was a brainwave to actually release in this climate, with all that's going on in the world, to release that MiG with American colours. I thought was really clever, and because it's only been declassified 10 years ago that they were flying them out of Area 51. I thought it was a really good, like, what if, but actually was sort of scheme. But I'm leaving it open to the panel here what they thought on it, and we'll take it from there. We'll start with Pete from Australia. What do you think of the announcement from Airfix MP?
Well, to be honest, I'm going to be more of an observer and listener to everything happening because I'm not an aircraft person, and that's what the majority of it was. I've never built I've never built a plane in my life. I do plan to, but I haven't. As for the boats, the ships on there was only two, wasn't there? That bug boat and another one.
The lifeboat was there.
The lifeboat, yeah. That didn't really jump out at me as anything special. So, yeah, my lack of experience with Airfix, I can't say. But as for someone who watched the video and watched through it all, it didn't grab me on much.
Fair enough. Was there any of the kits released with Australian colours this year? I can't remember. There wasn't, was there?
Bristol.
I didn't see any with a kangaroo in the middle of the roundel. I didn't see any this year.
There was one, but I can't remember what it was.
There was something there, I remember,
Yeah.
Right. We'll have to look back at that and see which one it was. If panel, the chat, if anyone in the chat knows which one was Australian, give us let us know in the chat, as I can't remember seeing any.
Bristol Bulldog was, and
the Bulldog was Australian.
Yes, one of them was Australian markings.
Oh, was it? Maybe so.
That's right. Is there any indication of when these models will be out this year? Do they?
Yeah, don't look on the website.
And how much of a diversion they're going to have to take round Africa to get it without being shot at? They'll have
yeah.
In terms of the release schedules, they indicate to the public broadly when they're coming. As a retailer, you get a better idea. I mean, it's going to be light for a couple of months. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot coming, I think, towards the middle and end of the year, rather than the beginning. It usually is around Easter, and then they sort of do late summer and then winter.
So you just pre-order and wait?
Preferably from my shop, not Airfix.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, nowhere else.
I was going to say you're likely to have a sort of better idea than we are when they're in, because they're likely to inform you before they tell us when the release dates are, aren't they?
Well,
but it's still a guideline, because there could be production problems, and we saw with the Buccaneer, for instance, 2023.
Yeah, fair.
Well, yeah, they struggled with. I think they're waiting for the coins for that one, weren't they? I think that's why. But I get the emails through as well saying what the dates are, and it is inaccurate. I think I remember rightly that the Bond bug was labelled as being in stock for about 6 months when I last called the buggy was. But yeah, it's very much a case of you just have to wait and see. What about you, Tal? What did you think of the Airfix announcement? Was there anything there that took your fancy?
Sorry, who are you talking to?
Tam,
You.
you.
Well, the Liberator, definitely, because I'd been looking for a Liberator in 72nd scale. The night before, that wasn't sort of 75 quid, so that pleased me.
Yeah.
The Chinook does look good, but I can't help but have this overriding feeling with the sort of lack of that they've kind of realised that what they did last year with the surprise announcement worked. So they've kind of pulled a couple of things out that they would have normally announced, and they're going to keep those for later in the year because the Sea King and the 410, when they announced them separately, there was a lot of hubbub around it, the day before. So I think they're going to keep something special for later in the year. Dale almost, he all but said as much, didn't he?
Well, that's right. Yeah, I think they're going to be doing that a bit more now, having these surprise announcements.
For me, it was a little underwhelming. And I think it was more of a. There were things that were announced this year that perhaps had been ignored the year before. Like I noticed there was more ships released, even in the Vintage Classics, like with is that HMS Zulu or
no Iron Duke?
Iron Duke, yeah. So it seemed to me that they're sort of offering the shipbuilders and stuff a bit more choice this year, rather than catering solely to just the aircraft modelers, I think. And I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's good for them to sort of cater to everybody. So
I was going to work out when the last time they actually retooled a boat or a ship or anything, and I think it was in the 90s they last done a boat, but they've brought out the RNLI. I call it the Aaron class lifeboat, but it's not, is it? It's the 7 class, but I thought it was the Aaron. My bad. And then they brought out this new one, which was the Shannon one, which in theory should, if it's a good kit, that's going to make the RNLI a lot of money in royalties, because that boat, although it's quite a newish boat, they can allegedly refit it after 25 years for another 25 years. So the life of that boat is going to be 50 years. And I think that a lot of the RNLI stations around the country, if they warrant one, they will get one of those Shannon class lifeboats, if I'm correctly. I don't think there's any 7 class boats still in service, is there?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I used to live in right next to an RNLI station, but I know absolutely nothing about it. So for me, it was just the red and orange, the blue and orange thing I could see out my front window. But other than that, I know nothing about it. So not really my field of expertise.
Tell you what, I know quite a few people buy them and they create and make them into leisure craft, don't they? Because they are well looked after, and you'll never sink in one, will you? Because they're designed never to sink. Yeah, so if you want a boat to go, living on, those boats, and they're worth a few bob when they're up for grabs. So definitely
self-righting, aren't they?
They are self-righting, yeah, definitely. But I went in the 7 class one years and years ago, and I absolutely adored it. I was like, "Oh, what you could do with this, and the power of the thing. You know, even though it was on the dock side and they revved up the engines, you could feel it pulling. You know, like, you know, it's proper, you know, earthy. But so they released that one, the 7 class, and it isn't. I'm not going to deny it's not a very good kit. It's a lot of work to get that looking presentable. I know of 3 people that have tried. I'm one of them that tried it years ago and kind of gave up. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody is able to have a crack at it. I've seen a picture of it made, but not at scale model shows, believe it or not. Anyways, Alex, how did you feel that the announcement went?
So I think it's probably no secret from my video that I did last week and the one that I just did just before this stream. I was disappointed. Now that doesn't mean it's a bad release. I'm really looking forward to the Liberator. I think the Eurofighter starter set is a good shout. I think they'll do well in it. The lifeboat for me, the starter set is interesting just because it's a bit weird. So, and as a starter set, it's quite reasonable. So, if I'm going to try a boat, that's the way to go. The last time they tooled a boat, by the way, was well, if you don't count the Higgins class landing craft, is the Destroyer.
Destroyer, that's the one, Defender in that, yeah.
Yeah, that's 12 years. So, I just think if you look at the numbers, which I did, of course, because I am the professor.
Yeah.
Even if you take that they are going to release, say, another 7 surprise announcements through the year, they're still down on last year. So by quite an amount, by like almost 20%. So it feels light. It also feels very aircraft centric. So yeah, the boats are a bit out of left field. I mean, Ajax and Iron Duke are, I mean, they're terrible. They're really old. Even ship modelers say they are tired old molds last time they were released. So I'm not sure. I think if you've done a ship, you've probably done them already and avoided them. So I mean, if you wanted to do, if you're a car modeler, if you're an armor modeler, if you're a 48 scale aircraft modeler, it was I mean, well, the former 2 there was nothing, and for 48 scale, the Bulldog, it's unusual, it's a bit niche, it's a bit of the off the wall one, but an interwar aircraft is quite small fighter, so it's not a big aircraft. So it's not like you can compare it to, you know, the Gannet or the Sea King or anything. It feels, so it just felt a bit light. And I said the reason I was disappointed was because, you know, we've seen what Airfix are capable of in the last couple of years, and I wanted that momentum, you know, that excitement to carry through, and I feel they've lost that a little bit. And I think that's about, and from our discussion, because we had a relatively heated discussion afterwards, it seems to be about 50-50. You know, roughly that 50% of people think great, 50% are just like, yeah, not for me. So I don't think that was the case in the last couple of years. I think there was a bit more of a general acceptance that, oh, Airfix are actually, under the new management and everything, really going places. And I think this time it's a bit just like, yeah, which is a shame. So I just feel it was a bit of a lost opportunity rather than, it wasn't bad, but I don't think it was good either. It was kind of like, yeah, it's okay.
I think reading, as I said, between the lines, there's a lot of people there who were annoyed that there wasn't a lot of 148 and there was no armor. And I saw that clearly in the comments, what people are saying. But those who've been asking for a Liberator or a Chinook were absolutely overjoyed. You know, the Chinook that we have now.
But I think, Moss, that's the problem, isn't it? It's just like, and that's what I try to avoid in my analysis of it and the way I'm looking at it. I'm trying to look at it broadly as a model manufacturer, as a broad selection appealing to modelers, rather than, oh, has it got something in that I want to do? Which I think is the trap that a lot of people look at releases. Oh, they've got nothing that I want to do, so it's crap. Or they've got stuff that I want to do, so it's good. Well, no, actually, look at the balance across the ranges. Look at what they're doing in scale, in skill level, in subject. That shows whether it's a good release. You know, if they're just doing, look, we've got 12 new 1/72nd scale fighters in World War II. That's great if you're a World War II 1/72nd scale fighter maker, but it's not a broad release. It doesn't appeal to a lot of people, so you're making yourself niche. You know, that's more
think,
like what
yeah.
Eduard do. You know.
I think they overdone the cars last year. There was a lot of cars in the past. The starter set range, I think there's like 4 or 5 cars, hasn't there been in the last 2 years? And they kind of pulled back on that a little bit, didn't they? They went back to well, I thought it was called the BF 109, but allegedly that's wrong. It should be the ME 109. I've just been told. I wish Sully was on here to slap me about, but I've just watched a video today because somebody's complained that the Messerschmitt BF 109 is not a BF 109. It's an ME 109. So,
well, it was a BF 109 up until the E series because it was made at the Bioflugzeugwerk, which is where the BF comes from. After that, it was an ME 109 when it was made at lots of different factories all over Germany. So it wasn't.
That's completely wrong. That's wrong, Tam. That's wrong. That history is wrong. It was never built at the BF factory. It was owned by Messerschmitt before it even became a plane. It was in the design works as a BF 109. The Messerschmitt bought that company, and then when they released the ME1, when they released the 109, it was called an ME 109. Apparently, according to this video I've just watched, right the way from the very beginning, it was always known as the ME 109, not the BF 109. But I'd like more information. If anybody has any more information, I watched a video today, and it caught me off guard because I thought, well, I believe what you believe, Tam, but it's not. They were always the ME 109. So yeah, it was designed by that. What's the company called again?
Bioflugzeugwerk.
Yeah, but they bought Messerschmitt bought that plane before it was even in production, and it was called the ME 109. So I thought it was interesting. So maybe we need to get a history. You know, I'd love to get Luke, the researcher, on this one from Airfix to see what he thinks on the matter. But this video I watched today basically said they were called ME 109s.
I think that's wrong, boss. But we can take.
Well, you watch the video. I'll send you a link to the video and then come back to me.
To be honest,
the guy said,
I've read a lot of books about it, which I'd trust over a video. There's a lot of personal stuff with Willy Messerschmitt and the Reichsluftministeriat. So he was afforded a lot of personal favors, and that includes how the aircraft were named. So actually both are true and both are false because both were used, and it depends because one was official and one was unofficial. So it's not as clear cut as like they were BFs or MEs. So.
Yeah, it was just an interesting video that I watched, and I was like, "Well, I thought that was the case. It was they were built in the BF. You know, they were designed and built by BF. The Messerschmitt bought them, but allegedly that they were given the designation ME 109 by the Germans when they first flew. So the RLM reference to the BF 109 and the ME 109 equally in correspondence, so it's a pointless argument and one best left alone. Fair play on that one, I get that. But yeah, you know, when the BF plant was bombed, production was taken over different Messerschmitt plants. Yeah, but yeah, it's an interesting one. You know, people call it the ME 109 or the BF 109, but after watching it, see, you know. There's just a point. The BF 109 was actually called the BF 109 because William Messerschmitt couldn't enter the 109 as a competition unless it was entered by. I don't know about that. That's it's all over the place. But I just thought it was a very interesting debate to have whether we have to change our history on what it was called. So, but yeah, yeah.
For me, the only difference is that BF 109 sounds a little bit more menacing than ME 109.
The ME
for that reason, I should call it a BF 109 exclusively.
Yeah. Just think it's
Commando. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with Jet thing.
What's that? Sorry.
I agree with Jet thing because he says the Commando books say ME 109, so that settles it. Brilliant.
Yeah. And they were writing them in the 1940s, weren't they? So
but, if you actually look at the RLM documentation, which is the German ministry documentation at the time, they actually use both designations often in the same document, sometimes even on the same page of the same document. They were interchangeable. So if they couldn't work it out at the time, what hope do we have of being definitive now?
Wouldn't it be funny though if Airfix decided to go, we're going to call it the ME109, but that would,
I don't think it would affect sales, to be honest.
No, I think the way they've done the starter sets is very good. After, like I was saying, they've done a hell of a lot of cars and whatnot over the last 3 years for the starter sets. To bring up the Typhoon to go alongside the Lightning, the F-35, that's going to become some sort of bundle in the future, isn't it? They're going to link them because, like, they've done that already. The Dam Busters and the F-35, didn't they, together in a site? There's going to be down the track, and I think that'll be. I wouldn't be surprised if that isn't announced this year, because they did that originally with the Spitfire and the Red Arrow. You could buy both kits in one box. Have we got an echo here? Because I keep hearing an echo. Has somebody got echo on?
Not here.
No.
I can hear an echo. There you go. Boom. I'll turn myself off and see if that's causing it. But yeah, I think they're going to release them as a box set like they did the Red Arrows and Spitfire. What's your thoughts then, John Alec? What did you think of the release so far? Were you impressed? I think Liberator's on your list, surely.
I got 3 thoughts for you. So first thought, the Bulldog and the Walrus. I think those are the 2 kits that I plan to buy when they come out. So the Bulldog looked really interesting, and I'm a sucker for seaplanes, float planes. So that looked interesting. Second thought, the 2 kits that I was really impressed with, but that I'm not going to buy, are the Chinook and the B-24 Liberator. My hands are shaky. My eyesight isn't very great. So a 1/72nd Liberator probably isn't going to do it for me. And I've never built a helo, right, helicopter. So yeah, I kind of don't think I'd get the Sea King before I got the Chinook. And then the third thought, overall, I mean, I thought that it was good breadth. So I think they covered a lot of different stuff. There was a lot of different offerings. They're not going to be able to knock it out every single year like what they did with 22, 23, that kind of thing. And so, I'm mainly an armor guy. So, of course, being that there really wasn't 135th, kind of 148 stuff, I am looking forward to the spontaneous announcements as we go through the year. I think that that announcement was the foundation, and I'm looking forward to. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I suspect, from kind of what Dale was hinting at, that there's going to be some announcements as the year, goes on, and I'll be snatching those up, as they come. So
yeah,
that's my 2 cents.
Well, Dale was still kicking Matt onto the table, wasn't he? So.
Yeah. What I think is really interesting with that, though, is
Alex, I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm sorry. I think some folks.
I've had a few people say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I've adjusted my setup so that I now actually have a decent setup, but I haven't tested it. So is that any better?
I just want to hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the interesting part about it all is, so for me, the Bristol Bulldog seems like it would be better as a surprise announcement. And if they were going to do like a real big hitter, because I don't see a real big hitter in that announcement, and if they've got one hidden, why not have that at the beginning to get that excitement and then get us, salivating about what was there? I wonder if the surprise announcements were really successful last year, if that's going to change the way announcements are made in the future. So whether the big announcement at the beginning of the year is now going to fade away and become something of the past, and we're going to see more of a quarterly release schedule, or monthly or something, in the way that some
Well,
other companies do it. So I think it's interesting if it's going to be a lasting thing rather than just they do a big announcement and then a few surprises. Are we going to get just like regular surprise announcements through the year? Is that going to be something they're shifting towards? Because I think that'd be really interesting if that does happen.
I can't deny that at all. But do you know what the thing is? We've got to remember is that out of all the model companies out there, only one really does a good video about their announcements, and that is Airfix.
Yeah.
So they've only got to judge themselves against each other. Haven't they? There's no other. Hella don't do well. Hella did one. We're going to release this, and none of what they said last year has been seen, has it? They lied. They have lied to us. No one does a video. So why put all that effort in, Hella, to give us sweet FA for 2023 and none of it for 2024? Just saying. Tigers, I'll put your hand up, Tigers. You're absolutely right. Spitfire 124 for last year, the Buccaneer 148, the Meteor, the KT Ambulance, and the 3 new Academy tanks. It's got to be the contender for the best release day in 2022. Yeah. Fair play. I get that. Remember the Spitfire was released. The Spitfire was the first of the surprise releases because I was there. I was in Duxford when they announced that 124 Spitfire. And that. But then again, they announced it quite early on. We didn't actually see that for another 12 months, did we? So it was a really good year for them. Last year, you had the Gannet, which everybody was lording over. What else was a new tool last year? Oh, this, they announced that day.
410.
No. What they announced last year.
And the Sea King, right?
No. When they did the announcement in January, they announced the Gannet.
Right. Was it,
what else?
See,
we don't even remember.
Gannet.
Looking at they announced the Gannet last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the ferret.
What else did they announce?
The ferret. Didn't they announce the ferret?
Yes.
The ferret. The ferret. What else did they announce?
That was a massive hit. I mean, everybody.
35A starter kit. The starter kits of the 3 cars, the 765,
cars.
the whatever it was called.
The Land Rover.
Was that the one? Can't remember.
The Land Rover, the Jag, and it wasn't the Jag, was it?
Yep.
The Buccaneer. So there was even 12 months on, we can't really remember what was in last year's announcement.
The
Gannet was a big one.
The special Buccaneer when he flew it under the bridge, right?
Hunter.
Yeah, that wasn't that's a re-release, wasn't it? That was a re-release,
wasn't
it?
Surprise with new parts.
The Hunter.
Yeah. So they did see that. But yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So, but this year, like you said, there's for me, the Liberator and the Chinook was enough to satisfy my hunger pangs for Airfix. Like I said, the MiG 17 with the American decal scheme, the scheme on that, I thought that was just an absolute what a brilliant idea to do that. So that's going to sell a few. But other than that, it was the surprise releases through the year. The fact that they did bring out the SRM1. So imagine this was a trial period this year where things didn't go quite as planned, i.e., we found out about an announcement before Airfix announced it from some scale model company that jumped the gun a little bit, which I don't think went, it was, I talked to a lot of people and they were all a bit peeved about that. Airfix should have the right to announce these things. Just because you go home the night before, going to set this email to go out at this time, have the courtesy to wait for Airfix to at least announce their own bloody product. I think that was a bit shameful.
I think people.
Sorry.
I think people were waiting for that for Jad Lamb to do the Airfix announcements.
Yeah. Then they still jumped the gun with the website. We were there waiting for the announcement, and it was already on the website. So what's the point in doing an announcement video?
That was a bit of a faux pas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit of a faux pas. You want to get the excitement up, and then 15 minutes after the video and everybody's there waiting, they've all, because if you give them that fifth, but then again, do you want everybody to jump on the website at that one moment, 15 minutes after? I don't know. It's all I know is that we have no real status really. We have no guide really on if other manufacturers would do a video. I mean, if Edard brought out a video or something, that we could guide it against. But if you guide it against what other parts of the brand did, I think Hornby, we kind of yawned, had a fart, and walked away. With the train side of it. I noticed.
Me to sleep.
Well, no disrespect. I was watching the Hornby release, and I noticed the big, because it now shows the viewers on the screen, doesn't it? Now it does automatically update. I know as soon as they said, well, I saw a drop when they said about the TT120 bomb. There's no good announcement, which is a real shame, because after all the work they put in last year of getting that TT120 out, they kind of said we're not going to announce it until April. So, which is fair enough. It's their choice. The Liberator is long overdue, and now we want a retooled Halifax. Well, Halifax, Jaguar, I think they're going to bring out a 148 Hampton. I think they'll retool a Hampton. They're going to bring out the other one as a vintage classic or whatever, or re-release, and then bring out another one. I think they'll do that. So, who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? We just watch and get all excited and become human tripods if it's something that we want to build turns up. And I think if that Jaguar come out, that's the only reason I think that they haven't announced the Jaguar yet is because they're still in final. They're just trying to make sure they've got it absolutely right before they mention it. Because if they don't get it right this year, they'll wait until do it next year. But if you get it this year, you'll be disappointed in what you're going to get next year, because you've already got the one kit you wanted. And Jaguar was right up there. But as soon as that Bearcat comes this year, I'll be happy. If it does. I'm
telling you, they're never going to make Bearcat while you keep asking, because they're just going to not do it just to troll you, mate.
Yeah. If you see me do the Airfix announcement next year, there's a Bearcat in there. Spur and Clear, what did you think of the announcement? Because you were there watching it with us, weren't you?
He's got his mute mic.
Is he on mute, is he?
Yeah.
Dave, are you there, mate?
He might be spraying or something.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, mixed feelings, to be honest. I mean, you know me, I'll build anything that I like the look of.
Yeah.
Sorry, I dropped one of my barrels. Yeah, I was happy for the fact that there was the Chinook there. I did like the fact that there was yet another Spitfire. But
that's just standard, isn't it?
I mean, that's Airfix for you, isn't it? They're known for Spitfires.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that they'd released the RNLI again and the smaller one,
the Shannon Cloud.
Yeah. But I was disappointed in the fact that it's the same old, as far as I'm concerned, because you know me, I'm a science fiction fan. I like my sci-fi, whether it be real stuff or fake stuff. There was nothing there for me to want to get my teeth into, but I did like the fact that they'd done the Walrus.
Yeah.
Really did like that Walrus.
That does look a really nice kit.
Yeah. That was a lovely surprise, I've got to say.
And it's been asked for many times as well, hasn't it? People have asked that for a few times.
Anything else? No. Nothing really. The Chinook I would go for. The Walrus I would go for. I did like the fact that they'd done, I call it the banana helicopter, but I don't know what it was called.
Belvedere.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that was nice. That was a surprise to me. Everything else seemed, oh, we've got to get this out there. People will want it, sort of announcement. But apart from that, it was okay. But
Fair enough.
apart from the Walrus, the Belvedere, and the Chinook, nothing really bit my arm off to say, oh, quick, I've got to get my order in.
Mm.
Nothing.
Well, I did a video on that.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, no. Obviously, I could get the new toolings.
I did.
But then again, I got the Walrus upstairs in the attic in its previous guise, so I don't really need to buy that again. I did buy the. I did order the Belvedere, but then I've got one in the stash, but it's a very old kit, and I want to see what the difference is like now. The decals are buggered in this one anyway, so I had to buy. But the Walrus upstairs, I had a quick look this afternoon. Walrus, the decal absolutely fine in that box. So, yeah. Just going back to a few comments, which I thought were quite interesting. Phil Naylor says the whole Airfix announcement thing is just like everything else in life. You cannot please all of the people all of the time. I get that.
True.
I do get that.
Yeah,
And
but you can look at, as I said before, you can be objective though, and put aside your personal feelings about it, and think about the broader, picture. What does this release mean for Airfix? What is it doing for the modeling community, and where does it push the boundaries and stuff? And as I said before, that to me is how I try to look at it, rather than like, oh yeah, I want a Liberator, so it's good.
Yeah.
And there, I think then the slight imbalance in, you got a load of new aircraft kits in 1/72, and if you like World War II, you're good. Otherwise, it's a bunch of reissues. So I think that's a fair point, but I think people just need to try and look beyond their own personal needs.
Do you think it brings in people that might previously go with other brands and go, oh, look, Airfix is bringing this out, when they may have been with others previously, or it doesn't really pull people in? I don't know.
I'm gonna after we answer the conversation, I've got another sting in the tail for this one anyway. So quickly, just going back through the comments, I think ICM will do a 148 Hampton before Airfix.
I agree.
It is on the cards. But if they did release it, we would have a Gecko Airfix battle again. And also, if you talk to people who've bought the Gecko one, the ambulance, and bought the Airfix one, the Airfix one is better, allegedly. So easier build. Crazy Locker, not see my friend. There's a lot on the shelves. The ambulances sell, but the Gecko ones aren't selling. But apparently, aren't they a rebrand of a different model company that went bust? Gecko. I read somewhere where they another company that be rebranded as Gecko. Just asking out there. I'd rather buy Edard 72s for the higher quality than the Airfix. Price works out cheaper for me in the US for Edard anyway. I get that, but you also got to remember that, Edard do good kits, but they're also reboxing kits. So you've got to make sure if they are buying a tooled Edard one to a tooled kit that's from another manufacturer, we just added bits of PE. And the decals was, I think with the Edard now, I think the decals is becoming a bit of a bugbear for a lot of people. I read on the forums, they're wondering what's going on, Edard. Why buy a kit this price and these decals aren't doing what I want them to do? So something to look out for the future. Hopefully they're going to be doing a decent D-Day set involving transport ships, landing craft, and some aircraft. But they've done the D-Day aircraft, don't they?
They do those sets already.
And they do the other sets, don't they? But then again, the problem you've got is that all the D-Day stuff, like the vehicles and stuff, is that 176 stuff, which is all vintage classic. There's no 1/72 scale up-to-date armor, is there? Or army vehicles in the Airfix range. It's all vintage classics.
No, it's not, Nigel. No, it's not, Moz, because you've got to look at the... Because I had a question come from a friend the other day. He said, what do you think of the Bedford QRT? Airfix? And that was the 2015 release. New tool.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But is that 1/72nd? Is it?
That's either 170. No, it's 176th
What, in 2015?
in 2015. Yeah. That
That
one.
must have been
Okay.
toured before.
It doesn't.
That must have been toured before then.
You've got to look on Scalemace. Because I
That can't
couldn't
be
believe
right.
it when they said that.
A 170 wouldn't have done a 176 back in 2015. Not a chance. Can't see that happening, surely. I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
It is an odd one, that. My Miss Butler's in the bath tonight, so
Well,
fair enough.
We would get better viewing figures with Miss Modler in the bath, put it this way.
Airfix is a major sport.
I'm wondering whether the strong leaning towards the sea and like sea kits that we've seen in this year's announcements is something we're going to see throughout the rest of the year with the announcements. Perhaps, I don't know, maybe a new tool ship.
You say that, but I like the idea of these special announcements. But like people are saying, if ICM are going to release a Hampton before Airfix do, just put it out there. If Airfix have got that in the bank now, they've got the tooling done, they're ready to announce it. Wouldn't it be better to have announced that in January with this lot than ICM take away their thunder because they've released it before Airfix did? Isn't that a dangerous game to play? I'm pretty sure if Gecko...
Well, at the same time, though, Airfix do it in a much more relatable way in the fact that, they don't just put it in the catalog. They do announcements. They put it all over Twitter. They do videos for it. It's a much more PR-friendly way, isn't it? And people know about it.
But ICM are catching up fast. They do release announcements now. They're in Ukrainian, which is not a huge market, but I don't think it'll be long before they start doing it in those sorts of things in English. They're getting much more savvy. Their learning curve and the way they're accelerating is pretty impressive. So I think I love
ICM kits.
I just built their boat, didn't I? I've just done the rigging on it as well. I gotta say, I was very, very happy with their German multi-purpose. I've done the sides with that easy thread stuff that Celtic West gave me. It was a lovely build. I can't deny it. The only thing, so it's 144, and when you're trying to do the guns and that, put those put the shoulder things on. There's just no chance. I had to bin them. I couldn't do it. They're just too small. How they tooled it, I don't know. They must have, really got. But it's one of them. But yeah, and also is it ICM who do the PDF instructions, but it's all like exploded view and it all goes together. Is it ICM who do that?
They also do videos now as well.
Yeah. That's it. It's fantastic. If you watch really one of them, really go on YouTube, go to ICM and just watch it. You see the part attached to the vehicle, you see it all come together. It is, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot. It is what do you call it? An animation of the build. That's a lot of money. And unless they got somebody in Ukraine doing it cheap for them, it's a lot of work. Chancellor Northwest, Airfix is a major kit exporter, so kits like the Chinook Liberator will have wide appeal. I get that, it will. Modern Minutes, my only experience of EDR is the kits are lovely, decals are very poor, a bit poor. And EDR doesn't have nearly the range of subjects that Airfix does. Fair enough to that, I get that. But yeah, the Bedfords were 176. Remember, they also did a 176 kit of the Cromwell and the King Tiger.
No,
what is this?
2010 it first came out. I've put a link in our private chat, Moz, for it.
Yeah, right. Have a look at that. I can't believe it.
I think the Cromwell was 2012 and the King Tiger was 2011 or 2012, around that. Yeah. They did those ones.
I remember building that King Tiger, but I don't remember. I remember it years ago, and it was all right. I didn't say anything special though. Maybe they did update it.
They did a new tool in 2000. Where was it? It's either 2012 or 2011.
Yeah, But why 176 though? That goes beyond reasoning, doesn't it?
To go with the rest of the former range, perhaps.
It goes with
2012
yeah.
range, Pink Tiger.
it goes. It's 176 scale is double O gauge.
Yeah.
But then they brought them out at 172 to match up with Hella, though, didn't they? Were they originally 176, and then they changed to 172.
Yeah.
They changed the box, didn't they, to 172. So, yeah, it's a bit of a weird
Nothing
one.
else, just the box.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ICM is doing the 148B26 Marauder due for release in the spring. It should be excellent. Yes, it should be. ICM releases stuff all the time, but don't get confused by it, because me I get an email once a week, new kit, and all it is a Reebox with a new scheme. So you kind of get that.
ICM are doing more releases than Airfix, though, Moss. New tool.
But they've got a bigger team, though, haven't they? That's the thing. Airfix is a smaller team.
They have.
What they've got 12. They've got 12 designers, where Airfix have got 7. So ICM have 12 designers, or tooling engineers.
Alex,
designers.
I got a question for you. Do you think ICM sees Mini Art as the main competitor over Airfix?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't know how much. I don't want to call it interbreeding, but let's say communication between them there is either. It's a good question. I mean, ICM are quite they're almost like a Mini Art light, because they'll make a seat in 4 pieces, whereas Mini Art might make it in 8.
Yeah.
And another manufacturer might make it in 2 or 1.
Yeah, that's
I was
right.
just trying to think which one is the bigger sort of pull-push incentive, right, for ICM.
Yeah.
Because Mini Art is also coming out with, they're constantly coming out with new stuff and new toolings. So I'm wondering which.
Yeah, I mean, it always amazes me how many new tools are coming out of the Ukraine and how good they are. And they're in the middle of a war.
It's crazy.
It blows my mind.
Though, isn't it? They're only one explosion away from not producing any more for a while.
Yeah.
As horrible as that is to think about, but that right now is the reality of it. So,
Airfix was smart in the Ford-built B24H. There's no competition. Yep. Yeah. Fair enough. I think that's why they did it. I think all the previous ones were like J's and whatnot, and they just added a different scheme to it. This time you've got fully tooled, and I suppose there'll be added bits in there that you'll get when you get that H. You'll probably do a different variant as well. So trying to get that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that, because I have got a 176 more lying around, so I will look into that and have a build. Dale did say that the Angel Interceptor was a possibility, but just at the moment, perhaps they are waiting for an anniversary of Captain Scarlet.
Corgi are doing all the bits for Captain Scarlet at the moment.
in fairness, you can really only say that it's a possibility in terms of the fact that they already have the licensing for it. He didn't say
they
that
don't have the licensing for it. If you actually listen to what Dale said, even though there's Corgi, when they get the licenses, it's under the branding of Hornby. So Corgi may get the license, but the license may only cover die-cast. It may not cover plastic. But it is interesting that even though Revell and others have got the Thunderbirds licensed, no one does do an Angel Interceptor. I was just surprised that, in all fairness, why. I know it sounds a bit out there and a bit over, but the likes of Airfix of Reebox Academy tooling, why didn't they offer their tooling to another manufacturer that has got that license? So say like if Revell have got that license, why didn't they still use our tooling? But you give us some royalties for using our tooling to release the Angel. I don't know, just a thought. As I said, it's not there. So tell them Mark the Airfix tax is 1/72 scale. Yeah, I get that. Question for Alex: has the Airfix 2024 release launch video been mentioned much by your customers?
Yeah, I did answer that in chat. A few customers, I mean, it's not been mentioned a huge amount. A few customers have come in and chatted about it with the same general kind of like, it was okay. I was a bit disappointed at X, Y, blah blah blah. So a general, I would say, middle of the road, a 5 out of 10 kind of response.
Yeah.
No one's coming in waving flags because MOS hasn't been in the shop yet.
No.
Yeah. Do you think
waving his handbags? But
do you think Airfix won't build a Challenger or an Abrams because they're too modern and don't fit into their range? No, the Challenger would fit into their range as well as an Abrams would fit into their range. Now, we heard on the grapevine that they weren't going to be doing modern warfare, especially with what's happening in the world at the moment. But that kind of goes to the side now because the Eurofighter Typhoon's just been bombing people in Yemen, is it? They used them to bomb a country out of retaliation. So when they're bringing out the Typhoon this year, so that doesn't really make sense. I think what Airfix, I got the impression now when Airfix mentioned that, I think people misunderstood. I don't think they'll bring out a range like they did with the 148 Afghanistan sets. I don't think they'll label it up as, Herrick, Operation Herrick or anything like that. They will just bring out the vehicle and say, this is what it is. I don't think they will put it. I know the World War II stuff, you got the D-Day and, and VJ Day. They've done them before, but I don't think they would, VE Day, sorry. I don't think they will actually bring out, because of what happened with the Afghan, with the Operation Herrick. And all that was that somebody saw one of the resin buildings of a destroyed Afghan house, and it was mentioned in Parliament, so, but, that's the way it is. So, I just want to quickly go on. There was one question, but I can't find it now. But somebody mentioned about pricing, which is my next point in this. Anyone surprised, shocked, horrified, or okay with it that some of the pricing seems a little bit rich this year from the Airfix range? And I'm saying this across the board because I'm seeing price increases this year in particular from Tamiya, Revell, thinking they're going to get hundreds of quid for their Eurofighter. And, I see that there is an increase in price, but was it the Liberator at 46 quid for 1/72 scale?
But isn't
Now,
that becoming the way of the world at the moment due to
but
what is going on in the world?
I get that.
Across the board.
I get that.
Everything is going up.
But as soon as they said about the Swift, I know Modeling Weekly, I forgot his name now. I'm really sorry, mate. I've got your name in my head, but I can't remember it.
Yeah.
Sebastian. No, is it Sebastian? Anyway, he said, I would have loved to have got that Swift, but in 10 years ago, you could buy that for $11.99. Now it's 25 nicker. That's a in that. I think 10 years is a short space anyway.
Yeah, but when I was younger, 25, 35 years ago, I could buy a 172 Spitfire for 75 pence.
Yeah, but
You know
that was
what I
when the wage around there was probably about 20 quid. See, you've got to look at it. You can't always look at that price. I remember when I left school. When I left school, I was on £22 a week with what's it called, the YTS. But now when I'm £500, £600 a week is not away from a lot of people. You see what I mean?
Yeah, these days you've got to really consider the postage too, where you didn't have to worry so much about that a few years ago. That's a big
part. The postage is the worst increase I've fucking seen in the 3 years ago. I was shipping parcels for £2.20. Now it's £3.29. In the space of 4 years, that's gone up £1.
So that's hitting the manufacturers as well as now the customers have got to consider postage. Is it?
I mean, they've got to account for the fact that they've got to spend on fuel, postage, the raw material. They've got to get all this in place before they can even consider putting something together to make a kit for us to enjoy. I mean, things aren't costing pennies anymore. The suppliers for the raw materials, their fuels have gone up. So they're then passing on that charge to the customer that's buying the raw material.
Yeah.
I get that.
The customer's not going to sit back and say, "Oh, well, they put their price up, but we won't bother." It can't be done. It's a chain reaction. A puts up X pounds. B then has to swallow the cost, but they'll increase it somewhere else, and it goes on and on and on all the way through the chain. It happens, and there's no getting around it anymore.
I'm not being funny though. That Liberator is still easily the cheapest 72nd kit on the market.
Yeah.
If you want to go buy another Liberator from another kit maker, feel free. But tell me if you get any change out of 75 quid.
Well, you're a store owner too. You got to pay for the freight to get your stock in. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
that's another
And
thing.
also, out of all of this, if you really want to know about price increase, I think the biggest price increase is when the banks failed and VAT went up from 17% to 20%.
Yeah.
You look at the price. For every £10 you spend, £2 of that is going into the government coffers. Simple as. So before you even start, so if you're spending 50 quid on a kit, a tenner of that is going straight to government. That's how, but that's part and parcel of living in the country. See, this is what the Flying Dutchman. If kids still use pocket money to buy Airfix kit, they should take that into account for their pricing. I disagree with that statement because I was talking to a parent the other day, and 25 quid is average of a child's pocket money for the month.
Well, please.
Whereas when I was a kid, it was £1. So when it was £1 and I could buy a kit for 75p, there you go. That's pocket money pricing. I've seen kids play online and to get a booster pack for something like Fortnite, which gives them an extra weapon or give them a fucking dance that was seen on, what's it called? That Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, is 15 to 20 quid, £19.99. We update the app or whatever. So I don't buy that argument that it was always pocket money pricing, because pocket money pricing is 20 quid a week. And most of those kits, that starter set, $11.99, I think is a bloody bargain with the paints and everything. Yeah. I think the D-Day set is the bargain in all of it. 5 kits, 2 of them are new tools, aren't they? What's it called? Tempest is a new tool from 2 years ago, plus the paints. I forget the glue and the brushes. 5 kits, $49.99. I think that's a bloody bargain.
I think Airfix starter kit pricing is spot on. I mean, they're by far the easiest, cheapest way to get into the hobby, and they're kits specifically designed for starters. So I think, I mean, even if you look at the F-35 starter kit, which is I would say by far and away the most commonly, it's the one I've had to reorder most. I've sold more of the F-35 starter kits than any other in the shop, any other individual kit. I think the Eurofighter will be the same way. 20 quid, I think is pretty good for a starter set like that. And the 8 to 12 pounds of the others is, definitely pocket money kits. I didn't balk really at any of the proposed prices for the releases, apart from the Swift. The Swift, I originally thought, oh, that's a really good price for 148 scale kit, and then I realized it was the 172nd scale kit. The Swift is not big, and I'm just like, have they got that wrong? Because that seems like you can buy a 48 scale Tiger Moth, which is probably the same size, and that's like 20 quid now. So
that's what I was talking about. The part count in that Swift is small, isn't it? The part count is small in that Swift, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. So the Swift just seemed like somebody got the sums wrong. The Liberator for 46 quid or 47 quid. And of course, you've got to remember that retailers like me will sell it cheaper, same sort of Airfix club price. So 10% less than that. So you've got to think 42, 43 pounds. That's not bad for the amount of plastic you're getting and the build that you'll get out of it, how many hours you'll spend doing it. So relative value, I think, is pretty good. Again,
and there was 150 odd parts, wasn't there? As I recall, in that Liberator.
But then, if you look at what John Alec might pay for it, that might be a different value proposition, or what Peter might pay for it if he can get it. Probably in 2025.
Leslie Schramm, I play because I think I've set the ball rolling here about pocket money pricing. I play Star Trek Timelines. Their weekend game pack is currently 78 quid for something that you get fuck all from. It's like, it's on your screen and that's it. You get 3 days use out of it. Honestly, I don't think scale modeling it can be expensive. Crumbs, if you really want to deep dive into scale modeling and pricing, I think you can, you can pay mega. Like I said, I think, and the people can't afford to buy it, they won't. Like I know somebody said this year already, who contacted me and said, I'm somebody who normally buys 5 or 6 Airfix kits this year in a year. I'll probably only buy 4. Fair enough. You're going to get the same pleasure with those 4, but you have to cut your cloth accordingly. But, this argument about pocket money pricing, but what counts as pocket money? Is it like, 75p and that's once a week? That's £1 a week. All right, fair enough. But if you're on £10, you buy 2 kits a month, where's the other 3 quid that you would have got? It's probably buying the paints, glue, and brushes, probably. You know what I mean? But I don't think 11 quid. And also with the starter set and the vintage classics, you can pick up vintage classics for £8.99. If you really want to, build something that's a little bit cheap, or if you want to buy Mr. Craft, they give them to you. But at the end of the day, pocket money is there's no such thing as pocket money pricing with scale models. In that
Not
sense,
anymore.
or 5p anymore. I think if a kid gets £10 a week, that's 40 quid. I don't think I ever bought a model a month I was buying when I was a youngster. So you think that 40 quid, you could buy half the range of Airfix for 40 quid once a month. So this idea of pocket money prices is a little bit bullshit, if I can say that. Not being disrespectful to anyone who's ever said that, but pocket money pricing was it 75p years ago? It's £10 now. I'm just saying.
True story, Moz. I was having a sort out this morning, and I found one of my sort of like stash boxes. It's got all the offcuts from the other kits in. The box was a Hasegawa kit, 148 scale Phantom FGR1.
Yeah.
How much I paid for it in that was and it is BT's box. I paid £27.50 for that. Wow. I thought that was a lot of money.
Yeah. I've got a kit here that's got like an old ticket on it. Yeah. So that must be 25-year-old and they wanted a tenner for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I always spent my pocket money on kits as a kid, happier times. What's that? Whittle, oh yeah, just going through the chat. Whenever John Alec posts something, I get it 9 times in the chat, like,
I'm sorry about that. Well, we do, but fortunately the folks in the chat don't. It's just because it's being shared, Sorry about that.
We'll agree, Alex. Those starter sets are a slam dunk spot on. Yeah, I thought the F-35B was £2 too much. I thought 17 quid for that. But when I got it at home and I built it, and how lovely it was to build, and and coloured it and everything, and for £19.99, I think it, like I said, the biggest argument with those starter sets is the cement. And we know the reason why they're still using it. They've got loads of it in India. They've got to use that up. Then maybe when they do start to use it, they will come back and maybe give us a small version of one of these. But until that time, you can pick these up, for 3 or 4 quid from a local model shop. And I think that's a good buying point for you anyway, Alex. If they buy a starter set, recommend one of these or a Revell Contactor or
Revell Contactor,
or your man's rebranding.
Shipping, if you're shipping this one, because this one can go as a large letter. So you're already saving £1.20 by shipping one of them. £2.70 to ship this one. And it's £1.50 to ship that. So you're already saving a £1.20 for the Buster. Anyway, Russell Taylor, the Swift is a lovely kit. Jeff Angus brings up a good point. Our Academy are releasing the X Minicraft 172nd B24H Liberator for $19.99 or $24.99, depending on the retailer. Not too bad. The kit previously done the D and J version. Yeah, but is it going to be accurate for a H? This is the question you've got to ask, because this tooling, they've carved the steel to make a B24H. I don't think that. Could you do a D and J from a H? I don't think you can you? It's a different turret, isn't it?
Well, it's got a Fraser Nash turret on the front, hasn't it? So,
could you do a D and J from a H? I don't think you could you?
D to H seems kind of a jump.
No,
I
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a Liberator guy.
I think we need Nigel on to, because he'd tell you, because he'd know
He'll tell
straight
us,
away.
Yeah. He's impressed with the Liberator. What he's seen of it, he's very impressed. Actually, he done a video this week. Because I watched it and I was really pleased that he got them in time. Of the Spitfires, because I've been going on about this for ages. That starter sets of now are a totally different breed to the old starter sets, and like I'll try to explain to Dale, because he has done it on a few kits. If it's an older tooling that's designed as if you were buying it as a classic kit, and they add paints and glues and brushes, that becomes a gift set. But when it says starter set, the actual tooling is a starter set. It's designed for a starter. So it's low part count, easy to put together. Even using that crap cement, it still goes together really well. The only thing I did find is that when I tried to do that Bugatti, the scheme on it, you try and paint that scheme with the hairy stick. Fucking nightmare. But yeah, so he done this video and said that why hasn't anybody told him before that they've changed? That's why I sent it to you, Nigel, so you can see the difference between the two Spitfires. Brilliant video, by the way.
You didn't listen.
Yeah, probably. But if you haven't seen that video, go and see it. It's a really good. And he puts his hands up and says he's impressed with that starter set. So when I was gluing my Spitfire together, my dad would beat me with the Airfix catalogue, and I had to thank him.
Try telling that to kids nowadays, and they'll not believe you.
Yeah, they'd bat you with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Watch Gary's chat stuff with Dale. He didn't say the same to him as to your post-release video. What do you mean, Ivan? Just expand on that for me. That'd be interesting. I've not seen Gary's video yet with Dale. I must catch up and watch that. The Academy Minicraft 24H is not accurate. They changed the nose turret, but the whole nose was different.
Somebody was saying the D's. Lojo was saying the D's were upgraded to the J8, and somebody else. Let me go back.
Where's that?
Oh, it was John.
John.
No turrets on the. Was it
the early ones didn't have a turret.
No.
But the thing is, I mean, now you have the choice, right? So if you want to spend 25 quid on the old kit and kit bash it and buy extras or just do it yourself, you can. And if you just want to buy the Airfix one at sort of twice, well, not quite twice the price, and just have an out-of-the-box experience, you can. So it's a kind of you pays your money and you takes your choice, right? It's great that we have the choice. You know, we should celebrate that.
Yeah.
Rather than we just have that old kit, or we have the old Matchbox kit that you have to find, or something like that.
Which costs 3 times as much as it used to, so...
Yeah.
Or 4 times, correction.
Even when Revell re-released them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just seeing that there now. The Academy Minicraft B25H is not accurate. They changed the nose turret, but the whole nose was different. So, yeah. So, but we were talking about this at the actual event, weren't we? We said quite clear. I said quite clearly that I don't think Airfix have to worry about what anybody else is doing now. If somebody releases a certain kit, I think Airfix can bring theirs out at the price that they want to sell it for. and be confident enough knowing that their kit will be one of the most accurate and one of the most pleasurable ones to build. I just can't. I haven't found a kit yet. Or I'm going to say it again. The Tempest was my favourite build last year. I thought that was such a delightful build to put together. It was great. They've got no worry about anybody else bringing out a Tempest. I think theirs is one of the best ones.
Well, to a point, Moss, because he's still competing with other people's money, right? So it's what people spend their money on. So if somebody makes a different Tempest and it's a little bit cheaper and it's not too bad, then Airfix could lose out on that. So they still have to think about what else is happening in the market.
Nigel's after Moz's job as Airfix #1 fanboy now.
Direct market competition.
It's a long way to go.
Yeah. Just looking for the comments here. Just want to pick some out. Just going through. No turrets on the DLJs. That's it. No turrets. So if you did want to build a H version, I suppose they'd have to put the turrets on, wouldn't they? Somehow.
Well, it's the H version that's famously built at the full plant.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's very well known for being built at the full plant in sort of like they knocked them out.
Oh yeah, they knocked them out in quick time, didn't they? Yeah. Moz, watch Gary's stuff interview with Dale in the long version, not the shorter one. Yeah, but what was it that they said that was different to what he said to us in our chat? If kits were made today to the quality of the 70s and 80s, the cost would be lower than we pay now. The extra cost is down to R&D and the amount of investments required to make the tools, I guess, which is true.
I think the point is, I don't think that's 100% accurate. I don't think they would cost any different, because if you think about the research they did back then, it was just much harder, right? So it'd probably take just as long, but the end result wouldn't be as accurate. And the same with the drafting. You think, now you've got CAD, then you had to do technical drawings. You know, that stuff's not quick. So I think what you're getting is the same amount of investment, but you're getting a much, much better result. More accurate, more detail, more pieces. So I think you're getting more than twice the kit that you would have then for the same cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the B-24 could, I think it had a larger bomb load than the B-17. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Larger bomb load, shorter range.
Larger bomb load than the B-17. I mean, the Mosquito had exactly the same bomb load as the B-17.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was shocked when I first learned the bomb load of the B-17. It's like this massive aircraft. Oh, it's got to carry loads. No, it carries like these 4 bombs. It's like, what? That seems a vastly inefficient way of doing things.
Yes.
Well,
it's the American way.
Well, it's like looking at
they just send more planes over, don't they? 17 one plane for bomb
with 10 guns and it carries 4 bombs.
They might be big bombs. Are they big bombs?
1 bomb per engine, right?
Yeah.
Basically, 1,500 pound or 1,000 pound or something. Yeah.
And they needed fighter cover.
And a toilet roll to go with the loo that you drop.
4 bombs. It's a lovely bird, that B-17, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it was my dad's favorite.
Yeah, it is a lovely bird.
Airfix. The thing is, Airfix have a history of doing good 4-engine bombers.
Yeah,
and they did.
That's why we want a Halifax. Give us the Halifax.
Yeah, or Sterling.
Sterling.
Or Sterling, yeah.
Bearcat.
Very nice.
Bearcat.
But the trouble is with both those aircraft, both the Sterling and the Halifax, there's not much material. There's not much information out there for research purposes in the way of drawings.
No, but I mean they could. If we're talking about Halifax, there's one up at the Yorkshire Air Museum, isn't there?
It's Frankenstein, though. It's about 4 or 5 aircraft.
Is there?
Yeah. I think most of the Halifaxes that survive today are all basically built out of crashed aircraft.
Okay.
Did they say that the B-24 was the crate that delivered the Flying Fortress?
It was built in larger numbers too. I think John mentioned that as well. Yeah.
Did have a problem with its wings falling off though, didn't it? Unfortunately.
Yeah.
One cannon round and that's it. The wing spar would fold, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, but then when you had a Mark 108, 30mm high explosive round, 2 or 3 would take out most bombers.
Yeah.
It's an equal playing field, yeah.
Well, I think we've all seen that famous photo of the Wellington that landed with its minus its tail gunner.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
17 that landed, and then without the tail, and then the whole tail section kind of landed itself, didn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievably.
It's like Parasite Fighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I say we should wait and see what Airfix are going to do the rest of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I personally think they've done good as a company in what they've released. But as a personal, for me, average, I'm going to say.
It'd be interesting what they do.
I actually think Airfix have a B-17F waiting in the wings, but it won't be announced until after this new series comes out. Masters of the Air.
Yeah. Well, if it's a 148th or larger, I'll buy that in a heartbeat. Yeah.
I mean, I think we can definitely expect a 35th scale and perhaps a 48th scale as well, because had almost no 48th scale did we that wasn't a re-release, and I would be expecting a new tool 35th scale at some point this year.
Oh, there's got to, as I said, the Challenger tank has got to be up there as something that's missing from their range.
I think that's a good shout, actually, Moz. I think it's a very good shout.
We people say about Airfix have released, they go on about Airfix releasing this sort of stuff before they didn't. They released somebody else's tooling. They wanted to increase their 135th range, and they got involved with Academy, and that's not a bad shout. The Academy kits are pretty good, but it's not theirs. And we can see how that relationship would work, because I think the KT was one of the better releases from Airfix, and that was the Airfix said, "This is what we need." Academy sorted the tooling out, and then they manufactured it for them, which is what Revell's been doing for years with all the Boeings and the Airbuses, their planes. If you look at their boxings, made in Korea, because Academy done the tooling for them, and then Revell said, "Yeah, we like that," and then they manufactured them. It's a win-win. Keeps Academy in jobs as well.
Or possibly they use Hasegawa or ICM kits, don't they, Revell? So
they use a lot of different manufacturers' kits. The weird thing to me is that they can sell ICM kits cheaper than ICM.
And Hasegawa kits as well.
Well, and you can get them, whereas Hasegawa kits can be difficult to get in Europe.
But isn't that the good thing about Airfix? Even though they were Academy tooling, they were easier to get hold of because Airfix had the stock.
For us, yeah. I think it's easier for like the US to get Academy than Airfix in a lot of places.
Correct.
Yeah. I've just been sent an email basically telling me that the Haynes Manual, the God of War Mechanics, the Bible for Mechanics, I should say, they brought out a workshop manual, the Messerschmitt BF 109, and in the front it's telling me here that Alloys Almost University is the Messerschmitt ME 109. This was not the correct terminology, and it was always intended to be designated correctly by the Germans as the BF 109. So that video I watched there was talking out of his backside. But watch the video because he does put a really good argument, and the fact that when Mr. Messerschmitt was asked what was its designation, it was ME 109. So,
well, of course he's going to say that, isn't he? Willie Messerschmitt's one doesn't want his name on it.
and it was ME 1010 and ME 1010.
The 1010.
But I think in conversation,
it's a good shout.
Global conversation. The BF is, I mean, that's what I know. Even if it's unique to Messerschmitt, right? ME262, whatever. I think that in the nomenclature, the normal dialogue at BF 109, that's what I've known it as. But
yeah,
it's kind of interchangeable, isn't it? I think everybody, if you say BF 109, even if somebody's a stickler for like, oh, it's the ME 109, they would still know what you meant. If you said the BF 262, they'd be like, what?
Right.
Like it's ME 262. Yeah. So
the BF 110.
Just quickly, Russell Taylor says Matilda, Crusader, Churchill, Comet, Centurion, Chieftain, Conqueror, Scorpion, Scimitar, Challenger 1, 2, 3 are all possible subjects to go with their range.
Well, I can't see the Scorpion or a Scimitar because there's 3 or 4 different kits of both of those in the market as is.
The Comet, Tamiya did, and that's a bloody good tank as well, isn't it?
Tamiya's done a Charlie 2 as well as...
Well, the Comet would be basically the same chassis.
I thought it was Trumpet who did the Charlie 2.
Trumpet I've done Charlie 2 as well. But I've done the Tamiya Charlie 2. That's the European and the desertized version from the first desert war in Iraq. That's a really good kit, actually. Really good kit.
The kit literally goes together without glue.
Well, it's a Tamiya kit. It's like a jigsaw, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Shake and bake. We like a shake and bake. I do like a shake and bake. That's why Mini Art come with paracetamol in their box. Martin B. Nothing for me this year for Airfix, unless they bring out a good 148 kit later this year, but a lot of good artillery. Good artillery. Academy kits in 148 scale without yet another Spitfire 109, etc. Fair enough. There's a distinct They have got them in 148, Craig. The Jackal. Was it which was the tank they did in the 148 range?
Scorpion.
The what?
Scorpion.
Scorpion.
Jackal 2 is one of the best kits I've ever built. Period.
I was just about to say, if you want a Jackal, see John. He's just done one, and it's fantastic.
Well, is that the Airfix one?
It's a Hobby Boss. Hobby Boss. It's the Jackal 2.
Yeah.
Outstanding. One of the top 5 models, that I've ever built. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Odscale Modeling. Have you got any thoughts as to what your next ship model will be? Yeah, he's getting an Airfix Iron Duke. He's on his way there now.
I have no clue. All my plans are up in the air at the moment because of my move to Thailand in about 4 weeks. So I don't know what I'm going to build. What ship? I'm not sure. The Yamato took it out of me. I'm shipped out.
Yeah, Hobby Time was right. Airfix released the Warrior, which I wish they brought in which I wish they would bring out in a 135th scale. Is Warrior tank still in use by the English Army?
Don't think it is.
No. It's all challenges now, isn't it?
I believe so.
Which won a competition not so long ago, if I remember rightly.
Did. Was it Iron Spear or something?
Yeah. Just going through. Yeah, not much else in the chat, folks. So we talked about pricing this year, so we're pretty happy with pricing. Some of us are, apart from the Swift. Then again, that Sea King was cheap this year, wasn't it? Or last year, I should say. That Sea King, I was expecting a bit more pennies on that. And they released that for about 40 quid, didn't they? That Sea King.
It's a helicopter, though. Nobody likes helicopters, do they?
I don't know. I think
that was 300 odd pieces, though, wasn't it? So for what you get for it, that's
No, we
Yeah.
don't like helicopters.
Get that off the
Yeah.
screen.
Nothing wrong with a good helicopter.
You
Nice.
see, it's all right like that before you put all those sticky out bits all over it.
Oh, that's nice, Dave.
Yeah.
Which one's that, Dave? Is that the 1/72 scale Sea King?
The
Yeah.
Western Sea King, yeah.
That looks great.
Is that the one that Greg James? Is that the one that Greg James built this week?
Pass. Who's Craig James?
Radio One DJ. He was all over Radio One. He built that. He done a really good job. He used the hairy stick on it, and he's been asked now to go back to historic helicopters to give him a ride around Bournemouth in the back.
Oh,
of
right.
the Sea
I
King.
don't know, but
yeah,
this is the 172 HAR3.
Yeah, it looks great, Dave.
I've got that kit
Hey,
coming.
hello.
Nice kit.
Goes together well, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
looks beautiful.
The Warrior is an IFV, and the UK Army still has them, being replaced by the Ajax.
That's when the Ajax gets bloody finished.
That's the same with the Challenger 3, though.
Yeah. Just never done one.
No.
The Goddard's home.
Question. Here you go. This is a nice little question. Each of us have to answer this. Question: if you have the time, what one piece of advice would you give to an old guy who's returning to the hobby after a 40-year break? I'll just say, be amazed.
Spray enamels.
Be amazed. Be amazed.
Yeah, be
Also,
overwhelmed.
Don't buy a 3D printer through MOS.
Yeah. They had that in the catalog this year. They had that in the catalog.
The Humber.
Yeah. Got it, James. What would you give a 40-year-old, a 40-plus veteran of scale modelling?
An F-35B.
Yeah, do a start set.
Good job.
What would you go on.
I'd just say build what you love. There's so much out there. Build something that you're really passionate about, and you'll find a good kit of it somewhere. There's so much choice now. But I think just having that, take something that you've always wanted to do and just do that.
Yeah. I remember since the 70s, he was having issues with his airbrush yesterday, so
yeah,
he's spraying enamels.
Yeah,
I'd say use Scalemates to find a really good kit and one that's in your price range. Scalemates will tell you all about your kit. It'll tell you when it was first tooled, any updates it's had since, and using that, you'll be able to find a really decent kit that's in your price range, and that's probably not too difficult for your sort of skill range as well. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, and you'll get more details than you'll find just on the box if you go there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you know what you're going to get.
My advice would be take the advice and simmer over it. Don't take it as gospel.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in the old. My advice would be sprue cutters and a sanding stick.
Yeah,
as extra tools.
Oh, well, buy the biggest and most expensive kit you can find. Go for it.
Yep.
That's what you did, Peter. But then again, fucking hell, what are you paying at?
Yeah.
I've never built kits before, and he knocks a 1/700 kit with photo etch out of the park.
Oh, I did the Kitty Hawk 1/350 scale aircraft carrier that just the main superstructure had over 800 pieces of photo etch. That was my third kit I've ever built in my life.
Peter, otherwise known as the Marquis de Sade.
They ruined it for
Look, that is what I'm taking to Thailand. My first plane build ever. I'm going to build that over there.
Oh,
I wouldn't bother as crap. I said, "Oh, get yourself one of those Spitfires for Airfix." That was so loud.
There's two in there, so if I stuff one up, I've got a second chance.
I do like to see that these days. Does it really? Kits with two aircraft in, so you could do like two different schemes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't see that very often, do you?
Mm.
Yeah. If you want to build a tank, I recommend building the M41 Bulldog, which I built this week for the challenge from Jonathan Mock's Interesting Modelling Company. I really enjoyed it. I realised after I took the pictures, I'm missing an handle, and handle's falling off. But that was the challenge, was to build this bad boy, and it's lovely, really easy, nice kit. Whoa. Drop the gun off there. But yeah, I haven't glued the gun because when you're transporting it, you don't want it to. So, but it come up really, really nice. I'm really pleased with it. Really did come up nice little build. That really simple, and you can pick them up for about 15 quid. From your local stockists, and that is it's 1969. That kit.
What?
54 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
54 years old.
cheers, Moss.
What have I done?
Just reminded me how old I'm going to be this year.
Yeah.
You're in your 50s, are you
that
know?
bad. How come they're still in business? That's a good
That's as old
question.
as my teeth.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. It's because people like me order them for cheap spare parts.
The Moss sells them to get shop stock for Alex.
To be really fair, what am I doing? I'm on my big screen now. I think Mr. Craft, there's a place for Mr. Craft in the bin. Somebody asked me the other day, I said, Mr. Craft is my second favourite kit. And my favourite's the rest of them. I've had 3 Mr. Crafts. And I think if you want to go and see a Mr. Craft build, go to Model Minutes' channel. I wouldn't even put that shite on my channel, but he went off and built one. And I can't remember what he did there. He did the PZL, did a Polish one, didn't he? What was it called again?
He did the IL2 as well.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't even know what Mr. Craft is. I mean,
You're not
So lucky, John.
I think
the kits are hit and miss.
Do you
Some of them are awful, some of them are good, but the decals are always awful. So if you're going to do a Mr. Craft kit, I
bought a Mr. Craft for the decals, just for the decals once, because he had the scheme that I wanted many years ago, mind. He done the PZL37, the IL2, and the Fairy Fulmer. And what's your thoughts on them then, Matt? What do you think of Mr. Craft or Master Craft? I think the problem is that they've just bought old people's tooling, haven't they? And then rebox them.
Yeah. Their best one, but the Sea Harrier.
The Spitfire 5 that they did isn't bad as well. That's a great kit. There's nothing wrong with the kit. Again, though, decals are arse. I think they just print them out on a bloody printer, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And the best one's the Sea Harrier. It's basically a GR1 with naval markings.
Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a shout. Decals can be used if they're coated in decal liquid film first. Yeah, that's that repair stuff you get from.
I will do that. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
From now on.
Yeah, I'll give them
I literally just bought a Harrier GR7 to replace the canopy for a crap kit I bought on eBay because it was like £4 and I can't get Airfix haven't got any spare canopies in because I haven't got any spare parts for it at the moment. So
the canopy's wrong on it, so I wouldn't bother.
I only want the canopy. That's it, just the canopy.
The canopy's wrong. It doesn't fit. It doesn't even fit their model. So I don't think unless they borrowed Airfix's one, they wouldn't fit. The I said I think me and Nigel did a video. We got the cheapest kit from Amazon was £4 or something, wasn't it? A Mr. Craft helicopter, and it was a clone from Matchbox. They basically cloned it right the way through. It was bollocks. Somebody built their Alfa Romeo though, the racing car one, and they did a really good job on it. They said they spent twice as long getting it right. Right. So, what do you think about the new Airfix Club 2024? There are new informations about pricing for 2024 and the rest of the world version. I've not actually been on the website looking. Last time I looked, they were still trying to update it. They've always had two different. Well, they've had three, haven't they? 3 prices. So you can have the Airfix kit club with the special edition kit. You could just have the Airfix Club, which gives you the magazines, the calendar, and your 10% off. And then you'd have the rest of the world one, which was all digital. So it was quite cheap as well. But there's no point in... You can download the calendar now. If you go on to Airfix, you can download this year's calendar now. So...
There's no point. I haven't got a model on it this year.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, I'll have a listen to that. So... I disagree with you, Alex. Totally, 100% disagree with you about the Airfix Club.
What is the point of the Airfix Club, Moss?
The Airfix Club is to enact and be part of a membership of a club. It gives you 10% discount. It gives you all the extras like the keyring, the stickers, the certificate, the poster. You get your magazine.
I'm not 12 anymore, Moss.
I don't care.
An Airfix poster.
The 10%, you get your money back within 2 buys.
I sell everything that Airfix has 10% lower than their RRP. You don't, and so do others. You don't need the Airfix Club to get them at those prices.
And the free postage?
Well, you only get free postage with Airfix over a certain amount. Same for most shops.
£10, isn't it? But the calendar's good, the magazine's good, and you're part of something. And when they do have deals that they come in just for Airfix Club members
to be part of something,
you get a kit with that as well, which is worth £20.
Yeah.
So the kit alone,
in the UK. So I think it's not worth it in the UK. Anywhere else in the world, utterly pointless.
No, I get that, but in the UK, I think it's absolutely fantastic. And if I talk to anyone, and they say they go Airfix Club and they're in it, and the same reason. No. I think you are totally wrong about the Airfix Club. I think you're part of something.
I think you're living in cloud cuckoo land, Moss.
No, disagree with that. I think the Airfix Club is worth the money.
I respect your opinion, Moss, no matter how wrong.
Yeah, I get that. But the magazines are quality magazines, a good magazine they bring out. The calendar is good, and it's what
When you get it a year after joining.
What's that?
I got my calendar. There we go. There's my calendar for this year, which I got for my membership that I joined last year.
3 magazines. You get 3 magazines, and the last instalment is the calendar. That's how it works. So I don't see why that's a boo-boo.
Because they don't tell you that.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
I didn't get
Yes,
anything.
they do. When you sign up, they say you get your 3 magazines, and you get a calendar at the end of the year.
I don't think my
last said he was in the Club in 1969.
You get a limited edition kit with the scheme that won't ever be released again.
Well, you get a limited edition kit until the year that they release it afterwards, like the Meteor this year.
Yeah, but not with that scheme though. That's the thing. Schemes mean a lot.
Really?
This is what if schemes meant nothing.
You'll never convince me unless they change something about the Airfix Club. I don't see the value in it.
And then you've got your flying hours as well,
which you still have to pay for. Flying hours are worth almost nothing.
You get
best thing for the flying hours you can do is give them to Models for Heroes.
That's true. But then again, if you're in the Airfix Club, why would you? You would just save up and get a kit with it, like I do.
Yeah, I mean, I just got a Wellington for the £5.55 postage.
Yeah. brilliant.
How much have you had to spend to get it?
But not all the kits I've bought, not all the kits, Airfix kits I've got, I've bought though, because some of them have been presents, especially some of the bigger ones where I've got 3 or 4 tokens per kit. So,
which is actually the worst
you
way.
know, I got the Seafire this year for less than £9 because I had the Airfix discount. It was like 15% off, and I also had the points from buying kits all through the year on there. So I got it for less than £9, and it was £23 on site. So
yeah. So having been a commercial manager, you are all perfect candidates for that kind of scheme.
Oh, I'm so happy I'm a candidate.
I guarantee you, Airfix is laughing all the way to the bank on that one.
I doubt it. No, not with the kit as well. That comes with limited edition kit. The limited edition kit is worth £22 of anyone's money. The 10% off. You also get your hobby points as well, so you'll be earning extra cash for that. Fucking hell, extra cash.
To be honest, I mostly send the limit. I sell the limited edition kits on eBay because most of the time I don't want them. Like the 2 Hawks that we got last year, I sold them. The Meteor I got this year, sold them as well.
I think we've lost John.
He's got to think.
He's laughing.
But no,
I must have mentioned bananas in pajamas.
Yeah, just say bananas.
I've been an Airfix club member now for years. Like, you know, when I do every time I do my what's it called? My pre-orders, I'm getting 10% off everything that I've ordered from them. I get it early as well. So I just think for the money you pay for it, really good value. I don't know what the fucking then talk to me about this year. Fucking hell. But to be fair, beginning of the part of the year, I was getting kits bang on the money.
I'm just going to put this here, MOS.
I've got mine.
Yeah, you. How much earlier did you get it than I did?
2 days. You were 2 days before me. 2 days before me. They had an issue at the distribution centre.
Yeah, they had a lot of issues with that. To be honest, Moss, I would rather they spent the money sorting out their distribution and other issues.
Oh yeah, I totally get that, mate. The distribution is, sometimes it does make me, you know, I cut cloth.
I think they need to reimagine. I think they need to rethink the Airfix Club. I think it's a good concept, poorly executed. They could do so much more with it.
I think it does need updating to the digital world. Yes, I agree with that. And also, you know, the flying hours. You can only send them in if you've got a postal order. Well, that's no good to me because I'm agoraphobic, so I can't get out to the post office to get a postal order. I need someone where I can put on the card and pay online and then send it in with this reference number, you know. So that would be
you can do it by credit card, but it doesn't tell you that. You'd have to find that and then you have to contact them. It's a really laborious process. But I mean, why not just do that digitally? Why not make them Hornby points or whatever they are?
There was an article on the website in October at times saying new memberships after then, all the magazines would be digital. Is that right? Because under the current guise, I know that the current membership is now digital, but that will be updated soon. So I didn't know they were going on the digital route. I think a magazine is proper, you know, part of it. But then if they get rid of the magazine, they'll probably put the be cheaper. But you know, it's like everything, isn't it? When I be personally, like with any membership of any club, I like the fact you get the Airfix Club box, and inside there is your kit, you get your tag, you get your stickers, you get your poster, you get a welcome letter, and that 10% has been a godsend. And because I spent £30, I get a kit as well, which I've seen on eBay. They're selling that Meteor for £27.99. You know, so you get your money back if you don't want to build a kit. And you still got your 10% and you use your flying hours. And I don't think they'll get rid of the flying hours because it's part and parcel of Airfix for the past 50 years. I don't think they'll get rid of the flying hours.
Well, it was the first thing they took in when Hornby took over, wasn't it? The flying hours. Yeah. You know, we're now owned by Hornby thing. So I think while
You
it's
know.
owned by the flying hours will continue, but maybe if there's a split at some point down the road, they'll reconsider that.
I think the flying hour is a good
yeah.
idea. I just think the idea of having to stick them to a piece of card and send them in with a check is so 1990s. It's unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe a QR code, although generating one-time QR codes could be
a one-time QR code that you scan and it gives you, say, 100 Hornby points that you can use on the website straight away. No fucking about with posting stuff to them and all that kind of thing.
It's like the old green shield. They're like Hornby flying hours are like the old green shield stamps.
Co-op. Blue chip, please. Blue chip.
The old luncheon vouchers.
Taggers is put up there that they said current membership is digital only. This will be updated soon. I think that's what it is. At the moment, it's just digital, but I'm pretty sure they'll bring back that. If they don't, it'd be a real shame. They don't bring the magazine back. But I've been a member now for years. I love it. I love being a member. Every year I get my special kit, my limited edition, and I use my tokens.
It's not a surprise,
but yeah, and everyone thinks it's good value for money just because you get your 10% off.
Not being funny, that you only have to wait a year, and last year's Airfix Club kits end up in their store for sale, like they did with the first and last of the Hawks.
Yeah, but they weren't cheap though, were they?
No, they're cheaper.
They weren't cheap. Yeah. But no, I like the Airfix Club. I think you're part of something.
You shock me, Moss.
Well, I said, I think you're wrong. I watched the video and I thought, nah, he's talking shite.
Redeem your flying hours.
Pardon? I just
I get flying hours, with all these Airfix kits, but I don't do anything with them. Nothing.
No, a lot of people don't. But that's all part of it, isn't it? But this, the magazine was every 3 months you get a magazine, then you also get the calendar. I think there was a gap between because we got the magazine and the calendar at the same time. And that was because of the women that were doing it had left and somebody else had taken over, didn't they? So,
well done, Mr. Marley.
Yes, John, you're my new best friend.
Yeah, well done. Quality comment, that.
It's good, that, isn't it? Yeah.
I think one of the things we should say, though, Moss, is that if you don't do anything with your flying hours, send them to Models for Heroes. Because
absolutely,
it's really
do
it. Airfix work with them, to give people with PTSD and stuff model kits that helps their mental health. So if you're not using your Airfix flying hours, if you're not a member of the Airfix Club, send them to Models for Heroes. They'll be really grateful for them.
There's so many different ways of getting free kits. I get that. I buy a lot of second-hand kits from my local model shops. I've never gotten around to joining. Fair enough. But said, I think they need to add to it. They did the other day. They had special editions and stuff that you could buy. Special coupons. Discounts and stuff for the S kits. This is what I mean.
They should also do, Moss, to help if they're really serious about things like club membership, is stop doing all the silly sales through the year, because I know it pisses off some people where they've paid club membership and they're buying stuff through the Airfix website, and then a kit that they've bought through that is off 40% off or something, and they could have anybody could buy that
a little bit longer.
It's like it detracts from the value of that. So I think it just needs a bit more thought.
Yeah, I think they are looking into it because we've been asked a few questions about it. So I believe that
with the Vulcan. I mean, I paid full retail for the Vulcan, and then before they released the the black? Yeah, black. I
think that was
Vulcan for half of what I paid for it. And
that was so unfortunate. That was so unfortunate. And I think they devalued the Vulcan just like that because they put it in a flash sale. They devalued it.
Full retail like 2 months before. Yeah.
Well, isn't it like Alex? Alex says, right, for instance, he goes to Airfix, I want 10 Vulcans. Yeah, no worries. 2 months ago. And then 8 weeks later, they announced the Black Buck, but before they announce it, they go and reduce the price in their sale, in a sale. If I was a shop owner, I would have shoved the Vulcan up their ass.
Yeah.
The one thing that we need to get right across all manufacturers is whether you're big or fucking small, you're still in that same pool.
Yeah.
That is the problem. I didn't know this, right? But if I wanted to set up an Airfix account, I would have had to have had a physical shop. Jadlan was selling Airfix before they had a physical shop. So, yeah, it's but I think they did potential. I think they devalued that Vulcan by putting it in a flash sale. And I got one in the I got two in the end because I bought one and then I ended up with one in the mystery box, didn't I? I had a Vulcan in the mystery box.
Well, they did it with the tank mystery box as well, didn't they?
What's that?
Yeah,
reduced all the prices.
They did the tank box, and then within about 6 weeks of me doing it, they did a flash sale with tanks.
Yeah.
But then again, that's all part and parcel of. I think sometimes, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think sometimes Airfix, you got to realize that Airfix is not just a brand on its own. It follows whoever holds the purse strings above them. They say we're going to do a flash sale. What do we need to reduce? Oh, we've got so many of these in stock, so many of these in stock, and then they have to decide what they do.
And I think that's fine, but they need to communicate better. So, like you said with retailers, say if they bought a whole bunch of stock, and then the next day it comes out, oh, all of this is 40% off. They won't retrospectively take off your order, but they could at least say, because retailers don't buy stuff, just willy-nilly. So they should just say, look, in a week's time or 2 weeks' time or whenever it is, we're going to have this sale, on this stock. They don't even have to say what the amount is or anything like that. Just give warning, so that if you're going to stock up on this stuff, wait till that date or whatever, so that at least they're treating their retailers, their outlets, fairly. Because otherwise, because most of them are on pro forma, they're paying up front for stuff that they know they're going to reduce in price. So that just feels wrong,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, Gareth Evans is spot on here. I bought the 135th Cromwell full price. Then it was $19.99.
Yeah. How does that make it? Sours the experience before you've even opened the box. So, yeah.
But how does that feel with retailers that probably bought that kit at full retail price? At full.
Oh, it makes me. Yeah, when that sort of thing happens, it makes you want to never deal with a fucking company again.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely, I can see that.
And because you have a wide range of suppliers, you do compare them. I mean, Revell are the best company to do business with.
Yeah.
It's just a shame they don't have the same sort of ranges, nice kits. You have to be very selective about what you buy. But in terms of their trade rates, and I spent over a certain threshold last year, I get better rates this year. I've spent 4 times that amount on Airfix, and I've only just managed to get a credit account. You know how much credit they're giving me? £500 for 30 days. It's just like, what fucking point is that? So
that is standard across the whole. That is standard though. The first credit account you get will be 500. Then they up it the more you buy, the more.
What from Airfix or Hornby?
Hornby. But anyway, I used to sell. I was a salesman. Anybody set up an account, the first time they give you credit was 500.
Oh no, that's not the case, Moss. That's not. I can tell you because Revell have much better rates. Same with the hobby company.
I'm just saying it's a standard practice that if it's a credit account with a firm, they'll give you 500, and then within a couple of weeks.
It might be for Hornby. It is not the case for all accounts. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Here's my little ice cube queen.
All right, I'll give her an ice cube for you, Davey.
Ice cube for the dog.
There she
Cheaper.
is.
Oh, she loves ice cubes, man.
No, it's pre-ordering. Yeah, but Charles, you need the pre-orders in to judge how many kits to buy in as well, don't you? That's why they do it, isn't it? It's a guide for them, isn't it? If they see that they've got 3,000 pre-orders of a particular model, they know that they're going to have to order 6,000 because 3,000 of them have already been sold. Italeri have a much better range, do they?
Huh.
Huh.
It's loving the Tallery.
Italeri, gotta love Italeri. What have I built with Italeri this year? I don't think I built anything with Italeri this year.
I have got.
I got their starter set. Their starter set range, if they changed the tooling, would be absolutely spot on. But that's quite rich as well. 40 quid for that.
Yeah,
With
that's a
extra
lot.
sprue
I
cutter.
built 2 Italeri kits this year. Last year I built them.
Yeah. Anyways, right. That's an interesting debate. Finish on a high, most definitely. There's no auction, but keep an eye out because I'm going to be putting a load of kits on Vinted next 2 weeks. To slim down my main collection of.
They do, Wayne. As do the gift sets. Revell do gift sets as well, or starter sets. Italieri do them, and Mr. Craft do them as well. But
the Italieri ones are the better ones because they come with a proper glue as well, a proper Tamiya extra thin
cutters as well, don't they?
Sprue cutters. Let's watch my video. Sprue cutters, sanding sticks, a proper glue, and Vallejo paints.
The problem is with the starter sets from the likes of Hella and Revell and Italieri or Talleri, whatever you call them, is the kits aren't starter kits. They're just a random kit. Sometimes they are old, horrible toolings with a bunch of stuff. That's the difference between Airfix starter sets and the others. Italieri might have better contents of the extras than the paint that you get from Airfix and the glue. But the kit inside Airfix starter sets are designed to be put together by starters. So they won't put you off the hobby. You can't say that of Revell, Hella, and Italieri kits because some of them may or may not get you into the hobby, or you may just think this is why did I pay 40 quid for this?
I will point out one thing though. The kit that I got, wasn't it the F14? Did I get the F14 in mine? When I took it out of the bag and had a look at it, it looks all right. It isn't that complicated to build either. Very little bit of flash because it's a 1980 old kit. But other than that, I thought the premise, especially with the Vallejo paints inside as well, F16 it was, wasn't it? Yeah, F16. I personally felt that it was a good starter, but it was £39.99.
I mean, you can get a good F16 kit and those additional bits in a deal, I'm sure, from a local model shop for 40 quid.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for a starter set. A lot of money.
That's what I mean. But also, you think about it, they give you that. What tickled me was the cement. They finally realised that liquid cement, so you get like it's like about the size of a nail varnish bottle with a brush, so you can brush on the paint. It's a little bit thicker than Tamiya extra thin, but thinner than the Tamiya white cement. It's like in between. So you might get a little bit of pillory action on it, but I wouldn't. I'd be very careful with it. So, but it was all right. It was all right. Anyways, it's 10 o'clock, so keep an eye out for Vinted because I'll be putting. I'll leave a link. I'll put a link somewhere on my community tab to start putting these kits up for sale. I'm not doing auctions anymore because they become a bit of a ball ache. But it's the occasional ones people need to buy and whatever. But I will do another auction at some point, but it'll be better quality kits. I'll start the prices a bit higher because some of the kits I paid £30 for went for a tenner. That's fucking hell. You know what I mean? But anyways, thanks all for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Mind.
Really good chat tonight with the effort, with the talk about their releases, and I want to try and get a guest on. I want to get that diorama art guy on to have a chat with us as well. And also, I put on LinkedIn who's the chap who does the Airfix videos. I've got to speak to Dale first, but I've got to get him on as well for a chat at some point and everything else. But thanks all in the chat. Thank you all in the panel for joining us. And can you please go along to everyone here's channel? And if you could challenge you all this week, can you watch 2 videos that they've done? Write a comment on each video and like the video. And if you can, just subscribe. That'd be brilliant. Yeah. Have a good one, folks, and we'll see you next Monday. Take care, all.
Before you run off, can I just say a humongous thank you to everybody for helping me get beyond the 500. I am officially monetized.
Nice.
Way
overdue, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
No worries, mate. I knew I'd get you over.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. Take care, Zort. See you next week. Bye.
Bye, peeps.